An interview with Yasser Arafat is first tonight. It is the first the chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization has granted since Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir offered his plan for elections in the occupied territories. We spoke with Arafat Tuesday in Tunis, the capital city of Tunisia in North Africa. Tunis is where PLO headquarters have been since the Israelis drove the PLO out of Beirut in 1982. Arafat does not spend that much time in Tunis himself, but he was there last weekend for a special reason, to mark the one-year anniversary of the assassination of Abu Jihad. Jihad was the military commander of the PLO and the man considered the most responsible for coordinating the uprising on the West Bank and Gaza. He was murdered by a commando team at his villa in a Tunis suburb. Sunday, Arafat and Jihad's widow spoke at a commemorative rally in Tunis that was marked by emotion and heavy security. Our interview came 2 days later after a series of delays and almosts. It happened inside a well-guarded, unmarked house, sometimes used by Arafat as an office.
Oh, boy. Unbelievable. I know, it is unbelievable.
Mr. Chairman, welcome. The uprising continues in the occupied territories. Seldom a day goes by that young Palestinians do not die. How long can it continue like this?
Nobody can escape from his destiny. We are facing occupation, we are facing oppression. So we have no other alternative but to resist against this occupation and this oppression. From the Israeli army, from the armed settlers. And this is a decision taken by, not only by the leadership, from the small children to the leadership, to continue resisting against this Israeli occupation.
Thus far, they have not used arms. Is that possible that they are going to?
Till now, you know, this is a decision taken by myself and accepted in our leadership. And we are completely satisfied that this had been accepted and followed strictly by our masses and our people. We said no using for arms in our intifada.
Has there been any recent change in that?
Till now, no.
Is there, have the people in the territory said to you, please let us use arms, we must fight back?
Yes. Some of them.
And what do you say?
We said no. We had decided from the beginning not to using arms in our intifada.
And they will never be used?
Till now, they are following strictly what we have decided.
Yes. Prime Minister Shamir's proposal that he took...
Mr. No. Not Mr. Shamir. Mr. No.
Mr. Shamir, all right.
Mr. No, Mr. No. Okay. It is not me who mentioned that name. It is the French TV.
They call him Mr. No? Is that, yeah. Well, look, he took a proposal to Washington, as you know, for a way to what he called get the road to peace started, and to stop the uprising in exchange for some elections. You have rejected that approach.
Election for what? Give me one example that to choose the delegation for negotiations, we have to go to the election where it had happened. With the Israelis in 48, they had their election after approximately 2 years, 21 months. Where? In Namibia, in Cambodia, the election can be taken later upon for the shape, for the formula of the for exercising our self-determination. But to form a delegation only for negotiations, okay, we can accept the challenge, but not under their auspices. The occupiers They are the occupiers. They are the oppressors. We accept any kind of election, municipality election, because no other formula for West Bank. For municipality election, we have done it. What was the results? All those who had been elected, some of them had been killed, some of them had been exploded within their cars, within their houses. Some of them had been deported from our homeland. Some of them had been dismissed from their posts. So we have a very, very bad experience in the past from this election. And in spite of that, if they are insisting to have this election, okay, but not under their auspices.
So if the United Nations or some international group
under United Nations auspices, why not? But definitely not under the occupiers' supervision and under the Israeli auspices.
But what would the Israelis have to do? I mean, pull out completely before you would agree to the election?
You see, if this can be accepted, we can have a schedule. Definitely, I know that they will not move innocently, but we can have a schedule for the whole operation from A to Z. A package deal?
Package
Okay.
deal. Package deal.
Yes, I accept.
Have you transmitted this information to...
No.
No?
You can tell
right. Maybe they'll be
President
listening.
Bush as a package deal.
The package
From A to Z.
Okay, what's Z?
As His Excellency had mentioned.
Is what?
The end of the Israeli occupation.
The end of the Israeli occupation.
The implementation of United Nations resolutions.
So,
We are not asking for the moon.
all right. So, if it's a part of a package deal, you would agree to the elections if they are under UN supervision, and then those negotiators would then negotiate on the behalf of the Palestinians, correct?
No.
All right.
No, not like that.
All right.
The election, not for the negotiations. The election is a part of the exercising of our people for their self-determination.
Okay. But you would be willing to negotiate the nature of the elections, is that right?
The election is a part of the whole processes.
The whole process, I see. As you know, Prime Minister Shamir has said the reason...
Mr. No.
You call him Mr. No. The reason he says he wants this slower process
Okay.
is because
from
he doesn't...
A to Z.
Okay.
Let's
Right.
have the whole processes from A to Z, a package deal.
And how long would that take?
Okay, we can discuss all these details with the American administration, in the United Nations, with the 5 permanent members. But we have to start, not only to follow. This is my point of view, and we also had offered for the American administration our point of views. But the American administration and the mediator having the right to say yes for Mr. No, and no for the Palestinian delegation. We have to start from the beginning. This is the package deal offered from the American administration. This is the package deal offered from the United Nations. Or this is the package deal offered from the 5 permanent members of the Security Council.
You don't care as long as it's...
No, I am not. I have complete confidence.
Mr. Shamir says that the problem is lack of trust. He doesn't trust you, you don't trust him.
Definitely, we are enemies. Now we are enemies. But with whom I am going to make peace? With my friends? With my enemies. And with whom he is going to make peace? With his friends? No, with his enemies. So till now we are enemies. But definitely after having all the possibilities to achieve real peace, something different.
Sure.
For me and for him.
So you agree that it may take some time To go step by step to where he trusts you? Or
Definite. We know, as an example, Namibia processes had not, it had signed some months ago, and it needs more months, as an example. The same in Afghanistan, it took about 12 months. I know that it will not start within some weeks. I know that.
There are many Israelis as well.
I'm not asking for the moon.
There are many Israelis, as well as Americans, who still do not believe you when you say that you favor a two-state solution, that you could live in peace next to Israel.
It is not my personal proposal. This is a decision taken in our PNC, Palestinian National Council. It is not Arafat proposal. So this is had accepted in a democratic way in our PNC. This part of the American population has to understand it is a democratic way within this formula in our democracy had been accepted. And I am obliged, I am committed to what had been accepted in our PNC.
Just so there's no misunderstanding again, you no longer want to destroy Israel. Is that correct?
We said two-state solution. We know that when we had accepted 181. It is now their role. It is now the ball in their side. They have to reply. Are they actually accepting what we had declared or not? Mm-hmm. But when we are speaking about two states solutions, this means Arab-Palestinian states and Jewish states, according to the United Nations Resolution 181. Not only Jewish states. And for the Israelis, they have to go to hell. We are human beings. And we have the right to live as all other people are living all over the world. We are fed up to be rats. Or no, only for snipings and for killing. In the air raids, in the fighting, in the naval raids, in the shelling, in the through the assassination as had been done last year with my deputy brother Abu Jihad. And you remember 2 years before, 3 years before, an attempt to kill me by one of the air raids here in Tunisia. We are human beings. And we are looking for our new generations to live peacefully, freely in their land, as all other children all over the world.
Where would you draw the boundaries for your new Palestinian state?
We said it easily. There was, and not me only had mentioned it. This had been mentioned in fast peace projects, the withdrawal of the Israeli from all Palestinian and Arab occupied territories since '67, and to establish the Palestinian independent states, clear and obvious. And this had been accepted in our PNC last November.
That's the West Bank and Gaza.
Not only West Bank and Gaza. There is a part in Golan called Hemma. There is a part, yeah.
And Jerusalem.
Arab Jerusalem.
That has to be part of the Palestinian state.
What is the meaning of 242? The withdrawal of all the Palestinian and Arab occupied territories. And this, it is not me to reply this. The Shamir has to reply it.
What kind of...
he can't achieve peace in the land.
What kind of state would it be? What kind of government would you foresee? What's your dream of a government and of a country?
Democratic, real democratic.
With elections like in America
Yes,
or
yes,
Great Britain?
yes.
Or
Yeah.
even like is in Israel?
Definite. Why not? Although in the Israelis they haven't pure democratic election.
Do you have
You know how they are dealing with the Palestinians who have the Israeli nationality. They are not dealing with them in equal footings and equal rights.
But you would?
Yes, definite.
Do you-
And we are proud of our democracy.
Do you have in mind a pattern, in other words, a country that already exists, that has a government that you would like your Palestinian state to follow?
I followed the same experience of the American people and the American nation. I like it.
You like it, the American democracy?
American people democracy.
American people democracy. What about the
You see,
economic?
I'm specified of it. American people democracy.
Explain that, the difference.
Because you see, the American administration accepts something, some democracy in their land, but refusing the democracy for the others.
I see. I see.
So see, I am speaking about
I see.
American people democracy,
I understand.
not American administration democracy.
What about
Because a democracy, you can't look for democracy from one side or from one angle.
Have you given thought to the kind of economic system this new state would have?
Free democracy.
Free, not others.
No, free, definitely. It is now. We have this dynamic activities among the Palestinians. I can't control it in what this modern system. Free.
All Palestinians in the world would be invited to come and live here?
At least they can have the ability to be buried in their homeland. No, not to live without an identity card, not to live without passport. At least they can have their passport, they can have their identity. Definitely those who are living in Chile in this very luxury, they will not return back, I know that, but I am in need of their money.
And you
I want them to come with their money.
Money in their bag.
Definitely. And those who has this equity nationality, I know that they will not return back, but I need of their money too. There are millionaires.
You believe that a viable state can be created in this territory that you're talking about, that can live economically and live in peace as a real country?
You know, maybe you are not following our economical activities as Palestinians. We are proud that we had achieved many success in this line. All over the world, in the Gulf states, in America, Latin America, in the States, in Europe, everywhere. We are proud of it. How we are now living. You know that till now our people are living through these donations and through these supplies and assistances and helps from our communities everywhere.
Politically, let me read you what a newspaper columnist in the United States, a man named Charles Krauthammer of the Washington Post, wrote recently about the Palestinian state. Quote, in a Palestinian, he was talking in terms of the uprising, and he said, in a Palestinian state, 16-year-old boys will not rule. The armed factions of the PLO will. The West Bank will become the focus of murderous conflict between PLO factions, each backed by an Arab patron, precisely as has happened in Lebanon for the last 14 years, end quote.
He knows that, and he has to remember that after my departure from Beirut, I said that the volcano and the typhoon will not stop. Nobody was listening to me because they were listening to Sharon, the children killer. What happened? We were controlling during our presence in Beirut all these functions. And here we are. After our departure, everything had been exploded. We were giving the model. You have to remember how we helped thousands of the Americans to evacuate in 1976. Twice, thousands of the Americans. Even during the siege of Beirut in 1982, I opened all the passages for the Americans, for the Europeans, to live peacefully. And many of them refused to leave and insist to stay with me in the siege because we were protecting them. And please ask your embassy, who were protecting the American embassy in Beirut? The Palestinians.
His point and the point of others who question the viability of a Palestinian state is that you Palestinians are so divided. You have radical movements over here.
And they are, and the same among the Jews. They have the extremists, the fanatics groups, and had been elected in the last election, 18 of them, 18 seats. And in the Communist Party, the Labour Party, the Likud, the religious parties, the progressive parties, and we have the same.
Speaking of Israel,
and we are proud of this democracy. And we have in our PNC all these parties and all these groups. This is a part of our democracy. You have the same in the States. They have the same in France. They have the same in Italy.
There was a poll of the Israeli people.
Yes.
And 3/4 of the Israeli people said they did not believe that the Palestinians would ever be satisfied with just the territory that was occupied as a result of the 1967 war, and that eventually your people would want to take the rest
all the
of
guarantees
Israel.
they need, I am ready to offer. And not only my grantees, definitely. They are considering me that I am their enemies. And I am considering them, I am speaking about the leadership. I am considering this leadership is my enemy, and they are considering the Palestinian leadership are their enemies. But I am ready to offer all the guarantees, and not only Palestinian guarantees, United Nations guarantees, superpowers guarantees, big powers guarantees, EEC guarantees. What else? They have mentioned the same before Camp David agreements with Egypt, and now 11 years.
You have...
It is not a truce between Egypt and Israel. It is an agreement had been taken place.
You were asked by the United States to help in any way you might be able to find out who was responsible for the blowing up of the Pan Am Flight 103. And it's been...
It is an official...
They asked you officially, did they not?
No.
No, they did not?
They didn't ask me officially.
But
they have to respect me and to ask me officially.
I see. So you have not?
And I have some information.
You do have some information?
Yes, but also they didn't offer me any facilities, because to continue my information and my investigation, I am in need of some facilities from in Germany, in the place which had been exploded in Britain. I am in need to continue my, but I am sorry to say no facilities had been offered to me.
You think you could find out who did it if you were offered some help?
I am doing my best, because I consider it's an awful crime. Not only against some American people or some passengers from different nationalities. It is against the human. It is against the human being. It is a crime against the human being.
There have been stories in the last few days which say that a radical Palestinian group was responsible for this. Do you know that to be the case?
They are mentioning some groups, but not mentioning PLO or...
No, not PLO, no.
And not, they are not partners in our PLO. This is the rumors, but I am not following me because I haven't any official documents.
But did your investigation indicate that it might be not a PLO group, not a PNC group, but a radical Palestinian group?
I don't know, but definite. If this to be done by the Palestinians, we have to punish him through our means, and also through international means, through the Interpol. I am ready to coordinate with the Interpol in this attitude.
So if it was a Palestinian, you want those people found. Is that right?
If they are Palestinians, no mercy for them.
Will those people be welcome in your new Palestinian state?
Definitely not. We will not accept it. Our people, our masses cannot accept this style who are working with intelligence services. They are not working in our arena. You know, they are belonging to so different intelligence services. I'm not here to mention the names of these intelligence services. But the American administrations have complete information about these intelligence services.
How would you characterize the discussions that are going on between your representatives and those of the United States?
It is going in a very positive atmosphere. And we are speaking frankly, discussing all the points, we are receiving the American points of view, remarks, and we are sending the same to the American administration. But definitely we have the rights to ask, to have another standard of, another level.
Mm-hmm. You mean of the talks?
Yes, yes. Not only through ambassadors.
Are you ready to personally involve yourself in these conversations?
Why not? But not through with the ambassador.
Who would
with other levels, I am ready.
Yeah. Would you like to talk to Secretary of State Baker?
I would like. Why not? And I think, as he is doing with all the other partners in the Middle East, I have the right to ask him to deal in the same level with the Palestinians. I am dealing with the EEC. I am dealing with the socialist countries. I am dealing with the Islamic leadership. I am dealing with the non-alignment countries movement. Why not with the states?
Have you specifically asked for a meeting with Secretary of State Baker?
No. Not to forget, I asked for a visa to go to New York, and it was a negative response.
You think things have changed under President Bush and Secretary Baker than what they were under President Reagan and Secretary Schultz?
Yes. I know the pressure to stop this American-Palestinian dialogue.
But are you getting signals that...
Yes, I'm getting signals. I am following. And in spite of this pressure, His Excellency, the President, had accepted to continue with the dialogue with PLO.
Have you picked up any...
Because definitely we are the main partner in the Middle East conflict.
Do you detect any change in the official U.S. attitude toward Israel?
I'm not following in details this, but I am following what had been some of the, because not all the information I have through with the last talks of Mr. No with the American administration. A part of it. And we are in need of more information, about official information.
When your representative talks to the U.S. representative, do you feel as if you are indirectly, at least, talking to Israel?
Definite. No doubt of it. The American administration is working actually as a mediator between the two sides.
So you're already in conversations with Israel in some ways, right? Indirectly.
Many times it had happened. In 1981, it had happened between me and the Israelis through Mr. Philip Habib. In 1982, it had been done, and there is an agreement between me and Mr. Habib, Philip Habib. It was also indirect talks with the Israelis.
That was over Lebanon.
Lebanon, yes.
Right. But do you feel now that your messages are getting through the United States to Israel?
Yes.
Last week in the United States, Judy Woodruff, who works on our program, interviewed Prime Minister Shamir.
Prime Minister, no.
Prime Minister, no. And he was asked whether or not the United States was delivering messages to the PLO from Israel, and he said, the PLO already knows his message, and I quote him, "I don't trust them. I think they should dissolve themselves. I think the PLO is an obstacle for peace in the Middle East."
And he is an obstacle for peace too, from my point of view. But I have to deal with him. You see, I have been elected by my people, and he has been elected by his people. I can't choose their delegation, and they haven't the right to choose our delegation.
Would you go to Israel and talk to him?
Where?
Well, or somewhere else. Are you willing to sit down and talk to Shamir?
Definite. With whom I have to go to make the peace? With him. To accept him or not to accept him, I have to. I am ready. Definite. If we are going to make peace, I have to go to talk with him. And definite. We had mentioned many times that peace has to be done between enemies and not between friends.
You know, I'm sure you're aware of this. There have been 3 Arabs in recent times who have either negotiated with Israel or sought to negotiate with Israel. King Abdullah, Anwar Sadat, and Bashir Gemayel. All 3 of them were assassinated by their fellow Arabs. Does that bother you when you think about this?
No.
Why not?
Because I am following exactly what had been accepted in our PNC. It is not my personal proposals. It is not my personal point of views. This, I am committed, I am implementing what had been accepted in our PNC. Our PNC had accepted this plan, this initiative, peace initiative, and I am implementing it. I am committed to it. It is my duty to follow it. If not, they will choose another leadership to follow this line.
But you are not following a Yasser Arafat vision for peace and for a Palestinian state?
Definitely. A part of this vision is my personal vision. And I have declared this, and I voted for it. Nobody had squeezed me to vote for this peace initiative. I have voted for it. I worked for it because I am satisfied with it.
Do you feel your life is in jeopardy because of this?
You see, from the beginning, I had offered all my life for the sake of my people, for the sake of our new generations. This is part of our mission.
You consider yourself a man of peace, correct?
Yes. And I am proud that after... You see why? After this long confrontation, I found no other way but to but to work for peace. For how long we will continue in this confrontation? For how long? Generation after generation after generation. For how long?
And yet, the image...
And
yes.
this Israeli leadership has to understand that it is their duty to work, to find peace, and to achieve peace.
And yet in America, there are a lot of people who feel that you project. There you wear a military uniform, you carry a gun on your hip, you project the image of a man of war, not a man of peace. What do you say to those people?
Eisenhower was a general, and in spite of that, he had been elected as the President of the United States of America. Washington was also a military man, and in spite of that, he had been elected as the first President of the United States of America. What's wrong of that?
But both of those men took off their uniforms and took off their...
Okay, when I return back, maybe I will do it.
When you become president of a Palestinian state?
When I will be there.
So is that your idea of heaven, to use a universal term, to be president of a Palestinian state?
You see, we have to respect our democracy. I don't know when we return back whom they will elect. Maybe they will do. They will. I'll be another picture of Churchill after victory, after achieving stop the war. They had not elected him. This is the democracy. Who's against democracy? We have to respect the democracy. This is the democracy.
But your own personal feelings, that would be where you would like to be someday.
The most important achievement for me, real peace in the land of peace for our people and for our new generations. This is most important for more than anything else.
Finally, let me ask you...
To understand how our people are, you don't know the troubles, the obstacles, the very difficult life our people are living. Homeless, stateless, without an identity card. Believe me, sometimes we haven't places to our people to be buried in. We have no graves. Believe me. This is you see, a daily problem for us, for our cadres, for our people, for our... You can't imagine how difficult our life are as refugees, as homeless, stateless.
Do you feel that you are close to achieving this, achieving your state?
Yes.
How close? How much time will it take?
Not more than a distance of stone throw.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you.